The chat option is enabled, so you can just type in there where you're from uh, and which city and your name. That would be great for us to see. Awesome. Great. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. Just a couple of Zoom etiquettes before we start off the session. So there is a chat option on the bottom. Like I said, please let us know your name and where you're joining us from. We also have a Q&A box at the bottom. So please post your questions, and of course, we'll be doing the Q&A round at the end of the session. But it'll be, if you have a question in mind, just type it in the Q&A option, and then we'll have the panelists answer them towards the end of the session. There will also be a couple of polls that we put out during the session. So you will get the poll on your screen. We're trying to keep the session as interactive as possible. So it'll be great if you could vote, as soon as the poll comes up. And then we'll, of course, show you the results of the poll. Awesome. There are so many names coming in and so many cities. Thank you so much for tuning in. Right. Welcome. And again, thank you so much for joining us today. We at Worldview, we're pretty excited to have you all here for season 2 of the Gen Z Solvers Interactive, or GSI, like how we like to call it. Now, GSI is a digital learning experience for Gen Z across the world. And on this platform, together, we'll work towards real world problem solving around topics like urban sustainability, environmental conservation, health, global citizenship, and technology. Now, for today's session, the Seed Keepers tribe will be focusing on environmental conservation. Now, we've curated this engagement for you in collaboration with Food Forward India. They're doing some pretty interesting stuff there. So Food Forward India, they work on exploring, mapping, and understanding the different layers of food in India across the rural, tribal, and urban spaces. So we have Elizabeth York today representing them, who will also be moderating the session. And we also have Dr. Rao, a sustainable agriculturist and the founder of Haryali Seeds. Now, I'm going to leave it to the both of you to take the stage. And of course, Elizabeth, over to you.
Thank you so much, Kevin. I'm really excited to be here today. And hello to everyone who has tuned in. So my name is Elizabeth, and I am the Assistant Project Manager at Food Forward India. And I'm going to quickly tell you a little bit about what we do before we dig into today's session. Why don't we start with, say, a question? Since you guys have like your chat box open and ready to go, can you put in there when I say the word Indian food, what's the first dish that comes to your mind? And it can be any dish at all. If you can just throw that in the chat, I'll be really curious to see what that is. So many times when we talk about Indian food, we tend to stereotype cuisines and cultures. So if I were to say Hyderabad, you might say biryani, or if I say Delhi, you might say, I don't know, butter chicken, or Bangalore could be masala dosa and filter coffee. And it's really great that these main foods are representing these cities or places. But underneath that, there's so much more. There's communities and people with very different food practices and very valuable indigenous knowledge to share. And that's what we do at Food Forward India. We're exploring, understanding, researching, documenting, and just appreciating Indian food and culture, highlighting these various communities and food practices and indigenous knowledge that can enable us to be a more inclusive and sustainable community. And we do this through our research trips within India. And bring this knowledge and conversations to cities. And right now, during the pandemic, we are doing this online through Instagram, where you can follow us on our explorations, learn from researchers, cooks, and anyone with a story to share in food. And so along our journey, we meet so many interesting and amazing people, one of who I'm really excited to introduce you today, who will share some of this indigenous knowledge of seed keeping and preservation, why this is important and how we can participate in this activity to save our seeds and our food futures. So Dr. Prabhaka Rao has been a seed keeper for over 25 years, collecting indigenous and native vegetable seeds that are on the brink of extinction. His travels have taken him to remote parts of the world where his interaction with older generation of farmers has allowed him to access these forgotten varieties. So I hope you guys have your seed saving kits ready to go. And let's listen to Dr. Rao as he tells us how we can join this amazing tribe of seed keepers. Over to you, Dr. Rao. Sorry, Dr. Rao, you're on mute.
Thank you, and I welcome everybody for this session on knowing the tribe of seed keepers. You know, we are a very, very understated tribe. We don't hit the headlines, and we've been around for 10,000 years because that's how long agriculture has been with mankind, and we've been there doing work for 10,000 years. And by the end of the session, I hope I'll be able to inspire each and every one of you to become a part of that tribe across the world. Yeah. So let me just first start off by saying that when you guys go to the market, uh, put it on your chat. What kind of vegetables catch your eye? You would see tomatoes and bindis and squashes and gourds and carrots. Yes, why not carrots? Beans, all kinds of vegetables you see in the market, right? And you buy those vegetables and you come back and then your household cooks them and you eat it. So as far as you're concerned, there's nothing really wrong with the vegetable landscapes in our lives. I'm right, right? There's nothing wrong really because you still get vegetables. There is somebody here from the UAE, so they probably see vegetables all the year round, all the vegetables. Yeah. So, so it doesn't really strike us that there is something wrong going on with vegetables. Yeah. And I am here to, yes, we've got parval, pumpkin, brinjal, beans, okras, yeah, other works, yeah. So let me do a small screen share for you guys. And I would like you to look at this particular slide, which I'm going to show. It's an infographic, which was published in the National Geographic. And this particular infographic has got, let me just get to the first slide. Yeah, right. So if you see here, this is amazing information. If you see this, just about 100 years ago, if you went to the market, you would be stunned. There would be 408 varieties of tomatoes. There would be 463 varieties of radishes. You would have 497 varieties of lettuces. You would have 544 varieties of cabbages. You would have 285 varieties of cucumbers. Can you imagine how rich that landscape would be, how your supermarket would be, where a farmer's market on a weekend would just have so many varieties of vegetables? And in 1983, by 1983, it was dwindled to about 97% gone. All those varieties went away, and all you were left with was 79 varieties of tomatoes. You had 28 varieties of cabbages, 36 varieties of lettuces. I mean, gone. The whole thing was already dwindling. That was 1983. If you took today, I've done the math, and it's 97.3% of all the biodiversity that we had in the vegetables gone. And this is actually happening right under our noses. And nobody seems to be really aware that this is happening. So we need to understand why exactly is this happening. So let me just try to give you an understanding of what exactly happened. You know, we had about 65, 70 years ago, the Green Revolution that happened on this planet. Yeah. And in India, we had in the 60s, late 60s and early 70s, we got the Green Revolution in. And I was a part of that. I was a plant breeder. I was a geneticist doing plant breeding. And I was a part of that Green Revolution, which came into India. And how we started to promote hybrids and fertilizers and pesticides and putting bore wells, intensive irrigation. And, the Green Revolution happened. But what happened there was something new happened. That is, with the advent of hybrid seeds, the farmer had to go and buy seeds every season. For 10,000 years, our tribe of seed keepers, we made our own seeds. At the end of a season, we saved seeds and we shared those seeds with people because seeds belong to everybody. Seeds are for the entire humanity. No corporation or no individual can claim it as their proprietary right. But today, hybrid seeds belong to a company. Yeah. Now, because farmers have to buy hybrid seeds every season, farmers stopped saving seed. And all those varieties, all those hundreds and hundreds of beautiful varieties of vegetables just disappeared from this planet. Yeah. So, from 25 years, I have been trying to revive, preserve, locate, multiply, and share many of these varieties. And when you see these varieties, how do I get hold of these varieties? I get these varieties from seed keepers across the world. I travel the world and my work takes me across the world. And especially in India, I go to very remote parts of India. I go to remote parts of Europe, remote parts of the Americas. And I meet the older generation of seed keepers and I talk to them. And sometimes they trust me enough to share some of their precious seeds that are no more in cultivation. And to give you an idea of how beautiful all this looks, just take a look at what these heirloom indigenous, in India we call them desi seeds, in South India we call it nati seeds. Yeah. So what do these vegetables look like? All these are beans, you know, such beautiful beans. Most of this can be eaten raw. They're actually sweet to taste. Such beautiful beans, yellow colored beans, pink colored beans, purple colored beans, white colored beans. It goes on. And if you go on to my site at haryaliseeds.com, you will find just such a variety of just beans. And all these you can grow in your home. You can make seeds from this and share it with your friends. Yeah. Just look at the kinds of tomatoes that are available. I have over 27 varieties of indigenous heirloom tomatoes. Look at this one. This looks like a grape, a little tiny cherry tomato that's black in color, almost deep purple in color. You've got this that looks like an electric bulb, which is orange in color. You've got these white tomatoes. You've got this yellow cherry tomatoes. You've got these green pear tomatoes, just tomatoes, 27 varieties of tomatoes. Bindis, have you seen a purple bindi? Have you seen a pink bindi? A white bindi? This bindi doesn't have any thorn on it. And this bindi called the Star of David, I got this from Israel, where if you cut this, it's like the six-pointed Jewish star. Yeah. uh, Tons of them. See the kind of gourds, pumpkins, so many indigenous lettuces, so many. I have more than 11 varieties of just tulsis and basils, all indigenous. We have these wild varieties of courgettes. Yeah. So herbs and squashes at Haryali Seeds, if you go check out my website, you will find tons of these seeds. So if you need to know what is the difference between a hybrid, a heirloom seed, which is what I like to propagate, and the GMO. So today, let me tell you, all the vegetable that you buy in the market, They are either hybrids or GMOs. You can't go to the market and buy original heirloom indigenous seeds anymore. This is just not possible in India today, and it's not possible over most of the world. If you are in Abu Dhabi or Dubai, just try to do that. Just go to a supermarket and see whether you can get indigenous seed. No, you will only get hybrid or GMO seeds. Yeah. So let's just try to understand what are open pollinated seeds. Open pollinated seeds, OPVs, is the name given for indigenous seeds because nature pollinates and you can make seed from seed like we did for 10,000 years, the tribe of the seed keepers, yeah, which I would want all of you to become a part of by the end of this session, yeah, because I'm going to teach you how to become a seed keeper, yeah. So you got the open pollinated seeds, which are the heirloom seeds or desi seeds or nati seeds. And then you have got the hybrid seeds, and then you've got the genetically modified seeds. So I'll share a 5-minute video for you to look at this, and you can just have a quick look. The subtitles are there, and I hope you will be able to see the subtitles. If there is anything, just give me a shout, and I will, play it again. Yeah. So let's just play this little video. What's the difference between open pollinated seeds, hybrids, and GMOs? There are 3 ways you can make seeds. One, in an open pollinated environment, which means you allow the different plants to just directly pollinate each other, and you can create varieties. Yeah, you can make seed from seed. Yeah, so that is important. When you have an open pollinated variety, you just grow that variety, harvest the seed, and when you sow the seed, you will get the same plant. The same plant, the mother plant, the same plant will be the progeny plants. Yeah, they will not look different. And that is why you can be a seed keeper, because you can make your own seed and nobody can sue you or nobody can put a legal case against you saying it's their seed. Open pollinated seeds belong to the entire humanity. Yeah. So let's go on to see what. Farmers have been seed keepers for over 10,000 years. All heirloom seeds are open pollinated. They can be saved and passed on from generation to generation. In Haryali seeds, you will find red corn, multicolored corns. So what are hybrid seeds? These refer to plant varieties where you take 2 different but related plants and cross them. So this is important. You cannot take the seeds of a hybrid. Like, for example, all of you are probably having a tomato with you, or an okra with you, or a chili with you, right now. Now, you can't do anything with the seeds in that because they are hybrid or GMO seeds. When you grow those seeds, you will never get the mother plant. So that is why the business model of the seed companies, so farmers have to go and buy these seeds season after season. I mean, that's how the business works, right? You make the farmer come and buy it every season. So hybrids were still within the same species. Yeah. So you took two kinds of pumpkins and you cross them and you make a hybrid. But in GMO, you can take a scorpion and put its seed into a tomato. You could take a gene from a fish and put it into a potato. You could do anything you want with GMO. And why they do it is because they want to give certain amount of resistance or keeping qualities or whatever. So let's understand what GMOs are about. So the rest of the video actually, it is on a YouTube. If you just go and see difference between open pollinated hybrid and GMO, that link will come up. And if the rest of the video is about how there is a whole tribe of farmers who is protesting against this because you are really taking away human beings' right on seeds. Yeah, because now they've got all kinds of laws in different countries which force farmers uh, to buy hybrid seed. You can't make seed from seed because it's illegal. That's what they say. Hopefully, we will change all that once more youngsters like you become aware of what's happening. But for now, let's just stay with what we have to do. And what I want you to do with me is understand how to make tomato seeds. Yeah, we're going to make tomato seeds because this is a little bit difficult. Yeah, and why it is difficult is if you just slice a tomato. Okay, so you take a tomato like this and you can see this is a heirloom tomato. Yeah, but the ones you have, I guarantee you, they are not heirloom seeds. We are going to make, I'm going to show you the process of making seed, but don't sow that seed because that seed is useless. For you to make seed from seed, you have to start with a heirloom seed. Yeah, but this is a heirloom seed. You can also see the kind of colors that are there. The maroon color, it'll become black a little more once it ripens a little more. But you take a ripe tomato like this. Now if you cut the seed of a hybrid like what you have, it's of no use. But we will do this because I know all of you can't access a heirloom tomato. We are going to use this just for you to learn the technique. Now, if I take the seeds from this and just dry it, like I would do for a chili or an okra or a pumpkin or something like that, I can just cut open the vegetable. I can take the seeds, dry it, and it's ready to be planted. But a tomato seed, if I dry these tomato seeds, they will stick together and they will turn almost blackish maroon in color. They stick together. And at the time of sowing, if I try to separate them to plant them, I damage the seeds. Yeah. So you can't get good seed if you don't know how to make seeds. So first thing I'm going to teach you is how to make seeds of tomatoes, which we are all going to do together. It's interactive. But more importantly, I'm going to teach you a secret of seed keeping. And that secret is you can make a lot of money. And who doesn't want to make money, right? You can make a good amount of money. And we'll actually run through a sort of an interactive process where you can actually calculate for yourself in 1 year how much money you can make from growing heirloom tomatoes. Yeah. You could do this for chilies, you could do this for okras, you could do this for pumpkins and whatever. But we will start with tomatoes because these are the toughest to make seeds from. Yeah. So what I'd like you all to do is I would like you all to take your tomatoes like this. I'll keep a plate just to make sure that I can cut this. Now I'm going to just take a knife and I'm going to cut this longitudinally. Yeah, so I've got this tomato that's like this, and I'm going to cut it like this, not like this, but like this, the longitudinal way. Yeah. So all of you will also cut with me. Yeah. So yeah. So what you should have is you should have something like this. Yeah. And you can see the seeds over here. Yeah. You can see all the seeds there. Okay. So all of you have cut these seeds. Okay. So what you can do is sort of give me a thumbs up, or somebody can give me a thumbs up to know whether all of you have cut the tomatoes. Yeah. So we assume that you would have cut the tomatoes. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a small cup like this. Yeah. Just a glass. And then I'm going to take a tea strainer, yeah, a small tea strainer, yeah. Um, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a spoon, you see, I'm going to take a spoon and scoop these seeds and put it into this uh, tea strainer, yeah. So all of you do it with me, yeah. So what you do is you just see what I'm doing. I'm just sort of scooping that into the tea strainer, okay. It will come with a little bit of flesh. It'll come with some gelatinous substance, not to worry, but just keep scooping the seeds because there are actually a lot of seeds inside this. Yeah. So all of you can do what I'm doing, and either Kevin or Aparna can give me a thumbs up if they see all the youngsters joining me in this, so that I know all of you are hearing me loud and clear and you're all doing what I'm doing. Yeah. So I took half, almost done. Do I see? Don't leave even a single seed, because that's your pocket money there. Right there, what you see is a lot of money that you're scooping out. Yeah. And the beauty is, even after you've scooped this whole thing out and taken out the seed, the tomato is still there for you to eat or use as a vegetable. Yeah. So all of you are with me on this. So I've sort of finished off scooping the seeds of one half, and I'm going to scoop another. Yeah. Actually, we should have done something at this particular point. Okay, let's just stop for a moment because there's a little poll that we have put in. I want you guys to just go to the poll. Yeah, there's a poll button. So you can go to that poll. Yeah, the poll button is there on your screen. Just tick for me, how many seeds do you think your tomatoes has? Yeah, one tomato, does it have between 0 and 50, 50 to 100, 100 to 200, or about 200 seeds? Yeah. So quickly, you can just click one of those just by assuming. You don't count. Yeah. We will do that later, but now just take a wild guess and just click that poll and let me know how many seeds you think that has. Okay. Okay. So now we go back to scooping the seeds. So again, I am now scooping the seeds. So sometimes you may have to cut a little more. This is a very fleshy variety of tomato, which is called uh, Michel Pollen. And well, it's actually from India, but the nearest tomato that looks like this variety, which came from Chhattisgarh, is the French Michel Pollen variety. And that's why I've given it the name, the Michel Pollen. Unfortunately, we don't have a system of having standardized names for indigenous varieties. Hybrids, they have names, but indigenous varieties we don't have. And what does the poll say? It says between 50 to 100, and I would say that's a pretty good guess. But for now, let's do more scooping. I don't want you to leave a single seed because that's worth its weight in gold. Yeah. So have you all scooped whatever there was to scoop? Now, what you should be having is something like this. You see, I've got all the seeds inside here, yeah, with all the flesh and everything there. And I'm sort of letting it drip. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to sort of uh, pour a little water, just a little water, to give it a slight wash. You can see, if you see these seeds here, what you will find is each of these seeds are coated with a gelatinous, sticky thing. And that's what makes tomato seed making a science. Yeah. Everybody can make seeds from chilies or okras, or that is bindis, or ladies' fingers and pumpkins and all, because it's so easy. The seeds come clean, and you just dry it and it's done. Tomato seeds, and similarly brinjal seeds, yeah, they are also very difficult to make. The exact technique for brinjals as well. Yeah. So what we will do is we will just add just a little bit of water. So what I want you to do is just about, say about a little bit. So you see that's about the amount of water there. And what I'm doing is I take the spoon again, yeah, and I sort of gently stir that a bit, yeah. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the seed out of this tea strainer, and I'm going to put it into this water. Yeah. So now I'm putting the seed into the water. So all of you will transfer the seeds which are there in that strainer, and then you're going to put it into the glass of water. It could be a glass, it could be a bowl, it could be anything, just any container which can take that. So I've transferred, see, this is empty now, there's nothing in it. And I've transferred all uh, the seeds into this, yeah. So now I will just sort of mix it. And what I'm going to do is, what we are going to do is actually we are going to have to leave this for about 24 hours. Yeah. Now these are hybrid seeds. These are actually no use, but we are just learning the technique. Once you grow a heirloom tomato, you will use this technique to make hundreds of seeds. Yeah. So what you're going to do is you're just going to stir this. Yeah. And then you're going to leave this for about 24 hours. Sometimes, it can be even 48 hours. It doesn't matter. Like this one is about 48 hours. It's 2 days since I've kept it. And what you see inside here is, you see that all the seeds, that gelatinous coating is gone, and the seeds are almost clean. They're as clean can be. Yeah. And what you will see is there are some seeds which are floating on top. I can't show you in this, but there are a few seeds which are floating on the top. And there are a lot of seeds which have settled at the bottom. Yeah. The seeds which have gone down, those are the seeds which are the good seeds from which you can grow a new plant. The seeds which are floating after 24 hours or 48 hours, they are not the seeds. They are immature seeds, and they will not grow into plants. So what we do, therefore, is that we will take yet another container, yeah, and what we do is we gently sort of decant this. You just pour off the water from the top. You just decant it. The seeds will still be at the bottom. You see the seeds here? The seeds are still at the bottom. You're not doing this now. I'm just showing you what you would do after 24 hours or 48 hours, well, 1 day or 2 day. What you will do, I'm showing you. So you just see what I will do. I will just pour this water out till I have got just the clean seed at the bottom. Then I will take that seed, and on a tissue paper, I will just dry it, just take out all the excess water. Then I will keep it in the sun and dry it. And that's all it takes to make very high quality tomato seeds. Yeah. But if you don't do this, you get seeds which are all stuck to each other. and you won't be able to sell them at the price that you want. Yeah. So what you have learned now is a tradition that is at least 10,000 years old. Every farmer who grew tomatoes knew this technology. They knew how to make seed from seed. Today, I work across in India with 22 lakh farmers, 2.2 million farmers. I work with them. Almost all the farmers have forgotten how to make seeds, and that is so tragic. Yeah. So we teach them how to make seeds, how to use these heirloom varieties, how to grow this food which is so delicious, so flavorful, so textured, and so healthy. Yeah. So all that is a part of what we do as this thing. Now, once you have got all the seeds ready, it's dried up. What you do is, how do you store them? Yeah. So you don't need like a high tech seed bank that you will find in Norway at Svalbard, but you will just take an airtight container like this bottle. It could be a small bottle, but I think you are all going to be expert tomato seed keepers. So I've taken something that's pretty big, but this kind of a bottle would roughly have about 250,000 seeds you can put into this bottle. Yeah. So it's an airtight container. And what do we do with this? We first of all, we will put the seeds into this. Okay. And then we have got a very third world technology. In your kitchen, there is something called hing. Yeah. Hing is, it's also, it comes as LG. Yeah. It's asafoetida. Asafoetida is a resin that comes from trees. And what you do is you just take, it's usually a powder like this. Inside you see a powder. You will just take a small pinch of asafoetida and put it into this seed bottle. Yeah. And then you will take uh, a couple of neem leaves, or you will take a couple of, so let me just share the screen for you here to tell you what you need to do. So um, so we'll just, yeah. So you will take LG or asafoetida, and then you will take either two neem leaves or lemongrass leaves, or there is this plant called the lantana, which is a weed that grows all across the world. Anywhere in the world, you can find this plant, lantana. Two seeds of this will also be enough for you to, um, you know, save the seed. And if you do this, so you put seed, then you put a pinch of hing, you put either two leaves of neem or two leaves of lemongrass or two leaves of this lantana, which grows anywhere. This will be safe at least for anywhere between 6 months to 12 months. Nothing will happen to the seed. It's our Jugaad way of doing things. It's a very third world technology that's so effective. Yeah. So anywhere my farmers who are belong to the tribe of seed keepers, this is the simple technique they use. We can use a glass jar. If you don't have a glass jar, you can use a plastic one. It doesn't make a difference. Or in the remote parts of India, my farmers, what they do is they just take a clay pot. Take a clay pot, and they've got a small clay saucer that sits on it. So what they do is they do all this. They put the seed, they put the neem leaf, and then they put the before they put the saucer on top, they take cow dung and they put a paste of cow dung at the rim, and then they put it and they keep it on top in their lofts, and then it just stays there. Absolutely nothing happens to the seed. Yeah. So that's how you would save seeds. But what you don't understand when you're doing this is what there is, commercially speaking, what there is to this. Yeah. So let me just share the screen again. And I want you to do this math for me. Yeah. First of all, I want you all to go on the net and find out how much do heirloom seeds cost. Heirloom tomato seeds, how much do they cost? For 10 seeds, how much do you end up paying? Yeah. You could go Google any site, but you could also Google Haryali seeds and go to tomatoes, and you could check out. There it is 60 rupees for just 10 seeds. Yeah. You might think that's a lot, but you buy that only one time, right? Because after that you make your own seeds, right? So now what you do is, in this uh, uh, glass that you've taken the seed in, very quickly try to give me an approximate idea of how many seeds can you count there. Yeah, just count very randomly. You don't have to be precise, but is it between 0 to 50? Is it between 50 to 100? Is it 100 to 200, or more than 200 seeds? Okay, so let's quickly put that answer on the chat. Yeah, and let's get a sense of how many of us were right when we estimated how many seeds there were. Yeah. So Aparna or Kevin can, read out some of that if they can. Is the chat on?
Yeah, it is. So we do have this. Someone saying 0 to 50, 50, 150 to 300.
Okay.
It should be on your right.
Yeah. Fair enough.
You do have 100, 50 to 75, 0 to 50.
Right. Yeah. How many days seeds have to dry? Well, if the sunshine is good, normally it will dry up in 2 days' time maximum. So after that, you can bring it in. Neem leaves, fresh or dried, both will work. How much investment and time is needed for a fresher to adopt farming as a business, considering you don't have land? Well, I would say start with one pot on your balcony or your terrace. Start with just one plant. Yeah. And then you will realize the power and potential of becoming one member, a member of this tribe of seed keepers. Yeah. How much investment and time is required? You would be amazed. It doesn't require any investment as such. Maybe one time you buy the seed and that's it. And then time, I would say you would not spend more than 2 hours a week. A week, 2 hours. That's all that you will invest in this. And then we will actually now calculate to see how much you are going to uh, make out of this. And I guarantee you, I've had a lot of students who have done this and never regretted it. Yeah. So Neem is a plant. It's Azadirachta indica, the scientific name. It's a plant that grows all over the roadsides. In UAE, it's a very favorite roadside tree. Uh, they call it Shirish Oman. And you will find lemongrass also growing in a lot of places. People use it to make tea, lemongrass tea. They use it in cooking. And also, we can use these lantana leaves. Yeah. Any sign to identify whether a given vegetable is heirloom, hybrid, or GMO? You take it from me, Swarnim, that it will be hybrid only. You will see the packaging, it will say hybrid seed, yeah, or GMO seed. Yeah. You don't get company seed today that is indigenous. Yeah. So now, let's say you've got X number of tomato seeds. Yeah. So what I want you to do is I want you to take your calculators, your mobile phone would have a calculator there. Okay. I want you to put in the number of seeds. Yeah. And let's suppose that you have 10 tomatoes on a given plant. Every plant that you grow will have 10 tomatoes in it. Yeah. So how many seeds will you have now? You will have 10. You will have how many ever seeds. So if you had, let's say, 120 seeds from your tomato, so you put 120 into 10, 120 times 10, and you get the number for the second line. Okay. Now, let's say you found that one seed costs, let's say, 5 rupees or 6 rupees or whatever, or 10 rupees or whatever. Yeah. From your website, you found that out. And let's suppose that figure is Y. Yeah. So from one plant, your income would be the cost of the heirloom seeds times 10x times Y, right? So you know how much, if you have 10 tomatoes, you know how many seeds you're going to make into the cost of each seed. It's not a bad figure, I'm telling you. Now assume that at home you're able to have 10 pots of tomatoes, just 10 pots of tomatoes. Yeah. So now this figure goes up by 10. So into 10 times so much of rupees. And in a year, you can do 3 production cycles. Yeah. 3 production cycles. And that will give you 3 times, 10 times, 10 times, X times, Y times. And I want you to start putting on the chat how many, how many, how much does that amount to? If you are going to spend a very insignificant amount of money and 2 hours a week of your time, just let me know how much you would end up making. Ria George is asking, so hybrid seeds of any use to us, or they completely useless? Ria, they are completely useless because the company wants you to buy the seed again. If they gave you seeds which were useful, why would you go and buy the seeds again? So they're completely useless, because if you have 100 seeds, you'll get 100 different kinds of plants. Some will not have even tomatoes on them. They might just have small midget sort of a fruit on them. Some will be tall, some will be weak, and they'll fall off. You can't grow anything with those seeds. So to answer, yeah. Can we use curry leaves, sweet neem leaves instead of neem? Never tried it, but you could try it and let me know. If it works, then I will put that in as well. Yeah. So, yeah, sure. So please, um,
Some
yeah.
exciting answers coming in. Geeta Bansal says 50,000. Sudarshan is saying 6 lakhs. And Suhana has calculated if each seed is 5 rupees, then it's a lakh at 50,000. And then it's just up and up from there.
Wow, wow, wow,
That's
wow,
a lot
wow,
of
wow.
money.
So now let me tell you, I want you to do this, because what happens, let's suppose you've got this beautiful tomato that looks like a orange bulb. Yeah. Yeah. That orange pear tomato that was there. And you made so many seeds. Imagine if on your Instagram or your Facebook or on your Twitter, you post this entire story of your journey into the tribe of seed keeping and say, guys, at the end of this, I am going to have this quantity of seed, and you guys can buy that off me. And you need to buy it only once from me. Yeah. You just see magic happen. I did this just about a month ago for for a group of students in Dubai, and I have been watching. I've been following them on Instagram and on Facebook. Not so much Facebook. Facebook is for us. Instagram for you kids. Yeah. So I've been watching them, and they are doing amazing work. Not just one. A couple of them have their entire production sold out even before they are harvested the seed. It's booked. Yeah, because they took this purple bindi, and they did it. So the other vegetables that you have, the chilies and the bindi you will not be able to make seed out of, and I'll tell you why. Because the bindi that you've got at home is immature; it's not matured. Yeah. So when you grow a bindi plant, you will have to wait for it to dry completely and start to split. And that's when you take out the seed. Yeah. So as we go along, we will teach you more and more vegetables from which you can make wonderful seed and make yourself a nice little packet of pocket money. And trust me, your parents are going to be so proud of the money you make, because this is something they never saw coming, right? So I'd be happy to answer questions, any questions that you have. But just remember, apart from making this money, you are saving a variety from becoming extinct. You are reviving the ancient tribe of seed keepers. There are so few of us left in this world. I want every one of you to become a part of this. If you can save even one vegetable from going extinct, you have contributed to the biodiversity of the planet. It's as important as saving a tiger or saving a whale or saving a bird, or it's as important. This is nature's gift to us that's been given over millions of years of evolution. We can't let this die with our generation. Yeah. So I appeal to all of you to become seed keepers. And I appeal to all of you to really spread this word, create awareness, because once you create this, post this on social media, and you start creating awareness, my farmers then can start producing these exotic vegetables, which will come straight to your dining table. Yeah. And then we have saved these seeds, really. Yeah. So please post questions, and somebody can ask me the questions, and I'll try to answer in the time that we have left.
That was really wonderful, Dr. Rao. Thank you so much. I think it's definitely given us all like an incentive about preserving biodiversity, also the financial part of it that you shared with us. And I think everyone seems really excited to start saving seeds. Shweta shared a really nice memory saying that 2 months ago she had bought seeds, red cherry tomato seeds from Haryali, and her plant is growing extremely well and healthy, and she's going to save those seeds and propagate another plant. So she seems excited about that. A couple of questions regarding where do we buy heirloom seeds and how do we sell the heirloom seeds after we've bought them? I was hoping you can tell us.
Yeah. So heirloom seeds can be bought online mostly. I mean, there are many. There is a site called Navadanya, which belongs to my mentor, Dr. Vandana Shiva. She's an incredible human being. I mean, you must see YouTube videos about Vandana Shiva. She is my idol. Yeah. She has got an NGO called Navadanya, which has got excellent heirloom seeds. We've got Rani Bhai of Pune, has wonderful, she's a tribal lady who has beautiful seeds. So type in Rani Bai Seed Saver and you will get so many of them. Haryali Seeds also is one of the sites where you can get. I have something called no questions asked refund policy. If anybody takes my seed and for whatever reason the seeds don't germinate or you are unable to grow the plant from them, without any question, I refund the money. I'm the only company in the world which actually does that. Yeah. But my passion is, I'm not here to make money, but I want people to grow these heirloom seeds. So invariably, I'll reship the seeds for them. I know it's not my seeds because I test my seeds very well before shipping. I know it's their learning curve, but it doesn't matter. As long as at the end of the day, they can grow the seed, I'm so happy for that. Yeah. How do you sell? By using social media. And like I said, people who've used social media, they've had their entire harvest sold before even they've made the seed. By the time they've posted those tomatoes and okras and squashes, the pictures of that on their Instagram, they've sold it. You have no idea how many people want these varieties, which just are not available off the shelves in the supermarket.
Thank you, Dr. Rao. Another thread of questions is about, does this method that you showed us for tomato seeds work for other varieties of seeds, or is it exclusively for tomatoes? And what can people do for other varieties of heirloom produce?
Yeah. Right. So the technique that I've told you is for tomatoes and brinjals. Yeah. Because these are the hardest seeds to make. It's very, because the seeds stick to each other. You can't separate them once they dry up. It's a messy process. So this is called a fermentation process, which I have taught you. It's a secret amongst the tribe of seed keepers how to do this. Other vegetables, you don't need any technique. You just allow the vegetable to really mature, to become overripe on the tree or the plant. Take it, scoop the seeds, spread them on the ground. You can just wash them once. spread it in the sun 1 or 2 days. They dry up completely. And if it's nice, hot sun, not more than 2 days of full sunshine will dry the seeds. If it's cloudy weathers, then keep it till you can feel that the seed is completely dry, and then put it for storage. Nothing more is required. Yeah, like beans and bindis and all these seeds, very, very easy, because the entire plant, the entire vegetable is dry. By the time you take out the seed, it's dry already, it's clean, and you can just use it as it is. Yeah.
Another couple of questions are about seasonality. When do I grow these seeds for particular vegetables? And someone has asked, I'm in Abu Dhabi, can I grow seeds there in that kind of climate? Someone has said they're from North India, and what are like the climatic conditions required? Is there any resource or to understand like when to grow what seeds?
Yeah. So if you go to desert environments like the Gulf, Middle East, for example, actually uh, from November right up to March, you can just about grow anything there. Everything will grow because the climate is just so nice. So it's then from April to about August, September, it's very hot, and therefore it's difficult to grow things, although you still can. Yeah. So how do you know what to grow where? On my website, I've got sort of a calendar, and Elizabeth, also I have shared with you not just the calendar of the seeds, but in what season what you should eat. Nature has made a calendar for you so that you eat the right vegetable in the right season. But because of our supply chain logistics today, where we've got refrigeration and you've got logistics worldwide to ship vegetables from one part of the world to the other, you get everything throughout 365 days. So we are eating things we are not supposed to be eating in a given point of time, yeah, in a given season. So we have a calendar, and so for North India, there is a separate calendar. For South India, there's a separate calendar. And like I said, for various parts of the world, the thumb rule is just look and see what others are growing. Yeah. If farmers in your area are growing okras now, you can plant these okras. These heirloom okras will also grow beautifully. Yeah.
Is there any particular, someone's asking about seed treatment for the seed before sowing? Is there any thing to be followed with heirloom seeds?
Yeah. So heirloom seeds do not require seed treatment, yeah, unless you give it something. In the Vedic agriculture, there is something called a Bijamrita treatment, but let's not go too much there. But unlike these hybrid seeds and heirloom seeds, where they coat you with that glittery paint that is so full of toxic pesticides, heirloom seeds, desi seeds, you don't need to treat. Just keep it in that way that I told you, with hing and neem leaf or any other leaf, and then just directly sow it. Don't bother to treat these seeds, because these seeds are so hardy. Yeah, so hardy.
A question here, because you spoke about nomenclature, and sometimes these vegetables on your website, at least for me when I first saw it, a lot of them look foreign and exotic, but then these are actually seeds that you have saved from India, and these are indigenous varieties. It's just that we haven't given them names, so we you adapt the names from the close variety. Could you explain to us, the question came in saying that at Hariali, are the Indian origin seeds, are they also available? Could you just tell us a little more about why the names of your seeds sometimes sound not Indian, if I can say it
Yeah.
that way?
So what happens is that, unfortunately, we don't have an almanac, a directory where you have got all the indigenous heirloom vegetables listed with their names. So if you see, go to my website, you will see something called Meghalaya orange pumpkin. Why? Because I found that in Meghalaya it's orange in color, therefore that's the name. And I didn't find that anywhere else, so that's how the name came there. So if you see my brinjals are native to India because they were indigenous to this region. So you will find white egg brinjal, green egg brinjal. You will have a purple brinjal with stripes and green stripes and all kinds of things. So it's just descriptive. But sometimes The variety that I have found, let's say in the Raigad district of Maharashtra, would actually be looking very similar to a tomato that's called Mount Vesuvius tomato that's from Italy. So I put the name Mount Vesuvius tomato because at least people can Google, they will find that, oh, that's what it is. And they get some idea of what that tomato is. But it doesn't come from Italy. It actually comes from India. And of course, at some point of time, it must have come through ship and trade routes and things like that. Because most of the vegetables in India that we eat are not the vegetables that were there about, you know, 300-400 years ago. We didn't have all these vegetables, cabbages and beans and cauliflowers, and these things are not our vegetables. Our vegetables were the brinjals, the pulse, the beans. We have huge amount of bean varieties. Do you know in central India we have more than 3,000 varieties of just rajma. Rajma is a big bean, rajma curry and all that. We have 3,000 varieties of just rajma. Yeah. So nomenclature is something I'm still struggling with, and I hope at some point when all of you become, the tribe of seed keepers, we will have an international convention where there will be a protocol that's established saying that this variety, this is the name. Anywhere in the world, it will be known by this name. So it will happen.
We have so many more questions, but we can maybe share the details of, we've shared the details of the website, haryaliseeds.com. And I've also said that we'll share the calendar post this session with all the attendees, but
that will be a lovely thing, Elizabeth. I think you should share the almanac that I
I
have.
will.
Yeah, and
Yes.
let all the people who have registered for this course get it. Yeah.
Definitely, yes. But that's, I guess, all the time we have now. Thank you so much, sir. That was an incredible session. And yeah, I'm handing over now to Kevin.
All right. Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Thank you so much, Dr. Rao. That was an amazing session. And yeah, like you said, we'll share the almanac with all of you. All of you register on the website for this session. We'll send it across to you guys. You can have a look at it, and you can also head over to all the websites that we've spoken today in today's session. And anyway, thank you so much, though, for all of you for joining us, and thank you so much, Dr. Rao. Thank you so much for having that really optimistic view, and to make a tribe of seed keepers. And that's something that we really hope that happens. We had about over 100 people attending the session today, and I hope we have over 100 seed keepers after this session. For all of us, you can see this free screen right now. You can follow us on our social media handles displayed on the screen. There's Worldview Education, and know more about our upcoming engagements. We also have a very interesting live engagement at 8:30 today with Jessica Jackley. She's a social entrepreneur, author, and TEDx speaker. She'll be talking about social entrepreneurship and the importance of developing an entrepreneurial mindset. So you can head over to our website again and sign up for that session and all the other sessions. We'll have great speakers like Dr. Rao come and talk to you about their experiences and what they do. And I will see you at the next interactive. See you, everyone. Thank you so much for coming in.